What's up, everybody? Lawler here, your inside source for all things Rocket League. It has been a bit since we've done a video like this, but today's video we're going to be breaking down some of the latest Rocket League news. We've got things like Rogue rebranding, orgs leaving the RLCS, and a bunch of other stuff all in between. Before we get into that, as always, if you guys enjoy the content, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, all that fun stuff. And if you'd like to support me further, all my social medias can be found in the description down below. But with that said, let's get straight into the video. In a video put out on January 4th, 2021 at 10 a.m. Central, Rogue ended up putting out a tweet that said, "Same identity, new face, even bolder." As you watch the video, you see basically a montage of the accomplishments that their teams have had in various esports and different events, with working like content creators like Dr. Lupo, and a bunch of other things that they've been excited over the past year. But most recently, they ended up talking about their accomplishments and the fact that they want to start 2021 on a new start. And with this way they're going to be doing it, is they're actually rebranding their logo. It's not a crazy change. Like, Rogue is still Rogue. It is an organization that's been around for a very long time, and they're going to continue to be around. They just wanted to have a little bit different aesthetic. I will say, looking at the logo, it's not too bad. It reminds me a little bit too much of Shroud, being completely honest, but I do think it just feels like a updated version of what they already had. I mean, it feels like it's the 2021 version, or like version 2.0, and it's more modern from what we've seen in the past. I will say that the hood with the cut, someone pointed it out in the comments as well, that maybe it shouldn't be such a sharp cut, but it does work aesthetically with their stuff. So I do think that all in all, the logo actually looks pretty clean. It's going to be a little bit different seeing it, if I'm being completely honest. So, I mean, I compare it to their old logo and their new logo, and the only thing I think I'm missing is there's no hair on the guy now. There used to be hair on the old logo. If you want to show Wojtek the old logo versus the new logo, it's missing hair. A little bit more minimalistic. Up next, there is a tweet that was put out by Ping Hajian. I'm so sorry if I butcher that, but it says, "I'm sorry, everyone." And if you go into the details, is actually about the team Zero Issues disbanding. The initial tweet longer talks about how he's sorry to everyone, and for everyone that believed in me, and to all the players and the staff, and how he should have warned them earlier. So apparently this was something that had been approaching sooner than later. But unfortunately, they had to make the decision that due to the current contracts and obligations for Zero Issues, that they're done operating. They are no more. The only thing that will be continuing is their podcast, which I didn't know they had a podcast. So, I mean, interesting enough. I think the biggest thing of note for this is for a lot of people that don't recognize how expensive it is to actually run an esports organization. The amount of cost is kind of absurd. Most esports orgs operate at a loss and then hope that especially for smaller organizations, unless you're one of the big and more developed ones, they try to get in and pick up a team that's lesser per se, or like a tier C or a tier B team, and then hope that that team kind of climbs and has a underdog performance. You look at teams like the Peeps and stuff like that, and you hope that their story kind of comes to light. And then when that happens, Gale Force is a prime example, Northern Gaming is an example. A bigger organization says, "Hey, we want the team, and rather than paying a buyout, can we just buy the entire rights to the organization?" And they become part of one. So unfortunately for the younger orgs that don't really have that opportunity, they do spend a lot of money and end up collapsing because of that. It is unfortunate to see another one like this end up dropping out due to lack of financial reasons. And I don't know if that's just due to the organization handling things poorly, or not finding ways to run their organization with profit, or they don't know how to bring in more revenue, or whatever the reason may be. But a lot of people have been pointing to the issues of it being the market with pandemic and COVID and all that kind of stuff. And there was a lot of people that just, their bankroll just isn't coming through anymore, because a lot of things have had to be a little bit more reserved in their spending. I'm sure the most difficult thing is having to make that decision in the first place. People who are passionate are willing to go out of their way to make an esports org. Not saying all of them are doing it for profit, but there's a lot that are just trying and doing whatever they can to make sure that stuff stays afloat, and that they're trying to look out for the well-being of a lot of different people. And that's kind of the unfortunate thing, is if, you know, it was a team that possibly was getting paid, and, you know, primarily the Rocket League team, they now are without an organization. They've got to find a new home. They got to figure out what's going on. And it's kind of an unfortunate situation for everybody. Up next, not a disbandment, but a roster change. The team by the name of Continuum. If you guys remember, this used to be the Down to Earth roster that then became Continuum, and then Down to Earth picked up a different roster that was like lesser. We don't know if it's just because this one was performing too well or whatever, but apparently the performance doesn't matter, because they're now changing up their roster. They're going to be playing with Bob is Valid. He is now, and once was their sub, he is now getting the starting spot. and Spider is going to be the one that is on the way out. This one doesn't feel like a performance thing. You can look at the replies, and it is them being torn apart, being called clowns and this and that, and a bunch of different memes and everything else. Statistically speaking, I can tell you that Spider was the best performing on the team. I looked up the stats from most of their tournaments and stuff, and he is the shining light on this team. He also passes what we refer to as the eye test. When you watch the series, he is the most impactful. So it is very weird that they are getting rid of their best player. And the only thing that I can assume that it is from, because it was Aeon, Astro, and Spider, is that something's going on with Astro and Spider. That is me just speculating. That is not the full details. I do not know the details. But Spider was one of the better ones. So hopefully this is a circumstance for Spider where people recognize his individual level of play and he ends up getting picked up to an even better team. Again, you got to always think about the positives, and hopefully it leads to better things for the entire roster. Maybe Continuum did have some internal conflict that was going on, and Bob has good vibes, and they're gonna, you know, rise to the occasion or something. I don't know. Maybe Spider finds a new team and they end up popping off. We've seen it happen before. About a week ago on Twitch, there was also a tournament being ran by organization NavyMWR Esports. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because it is a problem. If you try to join into the Rocket League community or run a Rocket League tournament, the last thing you want to do is make sure everyone despises you. And an easy way to do that is to go from averaging like 30, 40 viewers and then just to magically have like 3, 4, 8,000 with 70 active members in chat. I will say that Rocket League, when it is running as a tournament, usually does pull better viewership. Competitive tournaments and stuff do way better on Twitch than anything else. But when you have no high-level players, when you have none of the top-tier casting talent, and the prize pool and everything else is negligible, for you to just magically have that viewership, and I can confirm it was most definitely view-botted, this is a way to make sure that no one ever supports you again. It is a good way for commentators, whether it be the RLCS guys or other ones or the top tier talent, when you reach out to them, to be like, nah, I'm good, man. I never want to be associated with you. So shoutouts to NavyMWR Esport. Way to mess it up. I will say this is a bannable offense on Twitch. There's been a lot of really shady stuff going down on the Rocket League Twitch category. Even today while I was streaming, I got spammed with a chatbot where it was like people saying quick chats like crazy. Stuff like that is not fun to deal with for anybody, but if you are blatantly doing it to try to get yourself and build up so your sponsors are happy and they find out, which they probably do because the community's been talking, I can tell you right now that those sponsors are never going to want to sponsor you again. So yeah, unfortunate that you're seeing them do this. This is not the first time that the Navy has done some pretty shady stuff on Twitch. Another team that is going to be leaving their org, not that the org is disbanding. If you guys don't know, RBG Esports, they are no longer. They're going back to their former name of Bong. This is Lemon Puppy, Daru, and Comp. Most people know Lemon Puppy. He played for Set to Destroy way back in like season 3, I think it was. So some notable names here. Pretty talented players overall. But they're no longer being represented by RBG. I don't know if RBG is just trying to find a new team, if the contract's expired, whatever it was. I don't even know if the kids were being paid. But overall, the Bing Bong boys are back. It is one of the sillier names, I guess, from the bubble scene. So hopefully they have some success or some newfound motivation because they are trying to find a new organization. Or maybe that's already in the works. Don't know. And last but not least, and probably the biggest one, I would say, even though it doesn't pertain to NA or EU, it is actually Ellevens. One of the best teams, if not probably the best team in South America, is no more. Ellevens was a team that also had in partnership with a football player. And unfortunately, it looks like these guys are splitting from that. Their coach, Nick, hangs out in my chat quite a bit. So I've known about this one for a decent amount of time. But Tander Card and Kaio, King Card, these guys are kind of more of the well-known names. This was the most prolific team in South America. You can take a look at the tweet if it's not already showing the results from their Liquipedia page. Is second, first, second, 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 first, first, second, first, first, second, second, first, first. Like, it is a lot of W's that this team pulls. So I am hoping for their sake that they are able to go and find a new organization for representations. They do say in the tweet, it does come out from Card or King Card, our contract with Ellevens has ended and we are happy to announce that we are officially looking for an org to represent. So I don't know if they just weren't able to find another organization and have a buyout happen, or if they were just trying to cut ties and then play it clean. So fingers crossed for the guys. They're a really good team. This is a team that is pretty much a guaranteed and a shoo-in for World Championships if a LAN does happen here in the summer coming up in 2021. So they are kind of pretty sought after. I would actually really recommend that if you're an organization and you've got a little bit of funds to kind of throw around in 2021, picking up this team is a great idea. That is going to wrap it up for this video for your Rocket League news. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or if there's any things that you think we missed in the recap, make sure you drop those in the comments down below. But that is going to do it for me. I'm going to go get some Chinese food and watch The Boys on Amazon. If you guys haven't seen the show, pretty dang good. Not sponsored, just putting it out there and saying it's a good show. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.